All
right, you're live.
No, we're not ready yet. Okay. All right, we are live. Wonderful. Welcome everyone to our first ever virtual masterclass. We are thrilled to have Dr. Andrade here with us. Dr. Andrade is the professor at the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley here in Brownsville. He has hosted, I believe, 2 of our master classes already. 2 or 3, I'm not sure. And he was supposed to host it in the spring semester, but due to the pandemic, we couldn't quite figure out how to do it. But now that we're all pros at Zoom, we've figured out that this is the best alternative. So we want to thank him for his time and also for always being so willing to work with our students. It's such a great having him on, help us out is such a great asset to our students, to our team. We always learn, the instructors also learn from him, not just our students. So we are thrilled to be able to have him join us here today. Thank you so much. Today, we have 5 BPS students playing. We have Stephen, who is a student of Miss Jan. Then we will have Samuel, who is a student of Mr. Ramses. Then we'll have Alexander, who's a student of Miss Lily. And then we'll have Elliot and Sean, who are my students, students of Miss Linda. We want to thank Miss Lily and Miss Jan for joining us here today. And thank you so much for all of the time. And I know how time consuming it can be it's more difficult to teach through Zoom and more time. So I know that, the planning and getting them ready through Zooms with all the technical difficulties and everything like that is so challenging. And so I want to thank them for preparing their students so well in order to be able to play in this masterclass. So what we're going to do is we have pre-recorded performances from each of our students today. We're going to stream their performances. And then from there, each of them is already sitting at the piano and each of them already has their sheet music ready to go. Dr. Andrade has their music as well on the iPad. And each student will get roughly 15 minutes. So I'll do my best to be timekeeper. All right, does anybody have any questions before we get started? No? Yes? All good? All right, so our first performer is going to be Mr. Stephen Danugrau. Like I said, he is a student of Miss Jan. And he has actually been playing the piano for just a little bit over a year. He started with Miss Jan last year, and he has improved so fast. I'm so proud every time I hear him of the work that Ms. Jan does, and not only his technical ability, but he's so musical when he plays. So I'm so excited that he's going to get to work with Dr. Andrade today. Let me go ahead and get his performance up. And this is Stephen Danugrau playing Clementi Sonatina in C major, second movement.
Good job, Steven. Very nice playing. So, how long have you played this piece for?
A month or two, I think.
Yeah, 2 months. 2 months. Good. Well, you're doing really well. You have learned this piece really well. What I like about your playing is not only that is everything is really correctly learned, not only the notes, the rhythms, but also the articulation, which is one of the things that very often we tend to leave behind and not pay too much attention. You know what I mean by articulation, right?
Yes.
Right. The grouping of the notes, the connecting of the notes, and how we have here the composer is very specific, giving us tons of little slurs to group the notes. And it is easy to ignore those things sometimes, and you pay attention to all of them. And that's great. Kudos to you and to your teacher for doing that. Very good. Very good. Also, the dynamics are very clear. I can tell really what you want to do. And that's really wonderful. Okay, so do you know what andante means?
Slow, soft.
Okay, yeah, that's one interpretation of it. However, more specifically, the word andante in Italian means walking pace. So it is the type of piece that is not necessarily too slow or too fast either. It's kind of in the middle, leaning a little bit towards a slower tempo. But we always have to remember the element of it, which suggests to us that the music has to flow. It has to feel like an easy, comfortable, casual walk, Now, the composer writes triplets in the left hand to help us create that feeling, right? The feeling of walking, of motion, of continuous movement. And it is important that we let those notes flow easily. Okay. Sometimes I think your left hand can be a little bit lighter, and the motion a little bit more forward. I wouldn't want to say the word fast, but maybe simply a little bit more fluid. Don't think fast, because then we don't want to go from walking to running, right? But we just want to make sure that we just walk more easily, that it flows more naturally, okay? So we're going to work a little bit on that, and also a little bit of transitions between parts, and how can we make some changes sound a little bit more convincing. Okay, so since you're at your piano, can we hear the beginning again? And I would like for you to try maybe a tiny bit more motion. Something maybe like this. Something happened with that note. Didn't want to sound. Okay. Wait, something is going on with my piano. Let me check. It seems like something fell. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. So maybe a little bit more like... Can we try like this?
Okay.
Good. By the way, I like your trills very much too. We'll talk a little bit about the trills in a second. Can you play just the left hand for me? And think of your left hand as if it is very light. Imagine that what you're doing is petting your dog, yum, like in motions like this. Each motion is not each note, but each group of 3 notes. Like yum. Can you do that for me at that tempo?
Okay.
Just the left hand. Good, much better. I like that. Can we try hands together now, remembering to keeping that left hand flowing?
Okay.
Great, very good. That was so good. Okay, so you know what phrases are.
A bit, yeah.
Yes, well, similar to language. We have an idea. Usually in language we have what we call sentences, right? We have an idea that has a short idea, that point that we're trying to make, and then it ends usually with a period. Phrases are very similar in music. We have an idea that has a beginning, a development, and a conclusion, and then we begin another idea. All right, so music is written like this in phrases. Here, even though we have two slurs at the beginning, one connecting the first two measures and the other one connecting measures 3 and 4, I think all four measures are one phrase. So when we play a little bit faster like this with more flow, it is easier to see the arch that connects all of that. So it begins with the first note, and finishes right there with that arrival after the trill. Okay, so you have to always think, once you know your notes well and your dynamics and rhythms and everything and the articulation, and you're following everything that's on the text, the next thing is to think, okay, what is the phrasing in this piece? How can I say, or speak or sing the music better? If you compare a piece, an instrumental piece, to a song, you notice much more easily how the song has clear phrases, because a song has words, and then so you have the clear analogy with language. By the use of language, you reach those points where the phrase ends and another one starts. Okay, so it is the same in instrumental music. Now let's talk about the ending, where you have that trill, which, by the way, you play really well. But I am just wondering if maybe your fingers could play a little bit lighter, not faster, just lighter touch. Imagine that your fingers are like little feet, like that your hand becomes, I don't know, like a little mouse, and your fingers are like mouse feet. They move very quickly. So that the sound becomes lighter and softer, because, as you have probably noticed from playing the piano already and doing it very well, whenever your fingers have to move faster, very often, automatically, they play louder. But sometimes that's not what the music wants. What the music wants is that they move quickly, but the sound is still light. Now, at the end of a phrase, because a phrase is like an arch that goes up and then down, at the end of a phrase, very often we need to play a little bit softer. So the way to do that with a trill is to imagine that your fingers are very light. So can you please play for me again? Sorry, I lost this. Again, just the trill. I just want to hear you trill your right hand.
We have about 5 minutes left.
5 minutes left. Okay. Yes. So let's do, please, just the trill. And think very light.
Okay.
Okay. Imagine again that the fingers become a little bit smaller and thinner. Tiki, 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 like little feet. Tiki, 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 tiki. That was already better. Yes. So that is the trick, or at least a way of doing trills when the dynamic is piano. If the trill is louder, then there is no problem. If you have to play a trill in forte, then you don't have to worry about, you can use all the weight of the fingers and the hand, and it's good. But when you have to play it softer, you have to imagine that your hand becomes lighter, and to have an image like imagining, for instance, like what I was saying, it can be a little animal's feet, a small animal, or even a little bird, also, birds walk really fast, something like that. That helps a lot. Okay, great. Let's talk about the third system. When you begin with the thirds here, you know, that part is totally different from what we had before. So we have to play it with a little bit of sense of surprise. That's something that we didn't expect is happening here. Because you finish the first part, which is similar. The first two phrases are kind of similar. And then that crescendo that we have is very important because it takes us to this beautiful chord. I don't know what you think, but I love that chord. I love when we play a C major chord that is not in root position, you know, C, E, G, but instead in what we call the first inversion, which is E, G, C. You know, it sounds very different. It sounds kind of sweet. Okay, so let's play. I want you to play one more time from the measure before the thirds. Can you start there? This will be the last measure of the second system. I'm sorry. So right there. Okay. Yeah, that was very nice. That was very nice. You know, and since we have a forte and then going to a piano here, make sure to keep it very piano. And when you begin here, it can be even softer. Yes, so that is really like something new is coming to your attention. And opens up. And then you have the next phrase, which is really beautiful as well. You know, very expressive. And then we finish piano as well. Okay, so let's do it again from the same place, please. And then go on all the way there. Yes, good. Very good. So these are details that are going to help your second movement of the sonatina sound even more beautiful. You're playing it really well, but I think those details help. You know, here is a place where we have to use our imagination a little bit more to see how can I make this sound really beautiful? How can I make people love this piece, you know, when they hear it? And usually that works when we also find those beautiful moments like the ones we were looking at, the elements of surprise. What is different in this new phrase compared with the previous one? You know, how do we make it sound more expressive? Okay, so, but you're doing really well, really well. I really enjoy listening to your playing. And my suggestions will be that use a little bit more imagination and creativity to make differences between the phrases, and then let the tempo flow a little bit more easily. Okay. But very nice playing, Steven. Keep up your good work. It's really wonderful. I look forward to hearing you again soon.
Thank you.
Great job, Steven. Thank you so much for all those comments. And yeah, and now we are going to have, and also, sorry, congratulations to Ms. Jan, again, Steven's teacher, who we're so proud to have as part of our team. Thank you, Ms. Jan. Our next performer is going to be Samuel, who has been playing for, I think he said 4 or 5 years. I can't remember how many you told me. Was it 5? And he's going to be playing a lyric prelude. Can you also make sure, I'm about to play it, but can you guys make sure that whenever you play that we can also see your hands? And that way it just makes it a little bit easier to kind of work that. So as he gets that set up, I'm going to play his performance.
Nice job, Samuel. This is a nice piece. I did not know this piece. I'm missing the composer's name. Who is the composer here?
Maybe his teacher knows.
It's William Gillick, I think is his name.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
William Gillick. Okay, great, great. Yeah, very nice piece. Nicely played. Okay, Samuel, there's a couple of things I wanted to say. The first one has to do with your posture at the piano. Your posture at the piano, I think, can be better. You sit a little bit too far onto the bench, too far. And when we sit too far back, let me see if I can move my camera a little bit here so you can see. If this is my bench and I sit all the way to the back, what happens is that the energy and the weight of your body is going to stay there. It's going to get there and it's going to be hard to move it and to connect it with your hands. So the result is that your hands are kind of playing like on their own, and it is hard to get more sound, to get energy, and to get variety of colors and stuff. So my advice is always to push the bench back a little bit and then sit on the front half of it.
Am I muted? No.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Yes. So like I was saying, so my advice would be to have you sit like that in the front and try to keep a straight posture. It doesn't have to be like, you know, stiff or anything, but easily. If you feel balance as you sit, then you bring your hands on the piano, and I think that's going to help you a lot. It's going to give you a lot of freedom. It's going to allow you to develop also your technique better. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now let's look into this piece. This is a nice little piece that sounds a little bit like a waltz, I think, even though it's not exactly a waltz. But we can see that there is a lot of dynamics here. Let me change my view here. I'm trying to see if I can move it away so I can see your face. No. Okay.
You want to see Samuel's face?
I don't know if he's in the camera.
I think he has to change his camera angle. Sorry, it's because I told them to so that they view their hands.
That's right. No, that's fine. That's fine. Yes. Let's leave it like this. Okay. So I would like us to play again from the beginning. Play again from the beginning. And this time, really try to start softer, thinking about how the high A that you have on measure 4 is the goal. Is the goal that you have to reach. It's almost as if you're taking kind of like a run or a sprint and you have to touch a wall, you know, and so you're going to run all the way to the wall and then you get there. This is a little bit like that. So because notice that you have a crescendo that goes all the way to that note. So we want to sound more like, sorry, wrong fingering. Yeah, so the goal is your A, your high A. Okay, so let's try again, please. Yeah, I think it was better. The sound at the beginning cut off a little bit. So let me hear it one more time and play. Can you just play the first note for me? Let me see if it's soft enough. That's very good. That's very good. Now do the same thing. I want that same volume, but then you keep going. Yeah, good, good. It's a little bit harder when you think that, when you know that you have to move, right? then already because of the energy that we have to put into, it sounds a little bit louder. So you almost have to tell yourself that you're only playing the first note, which is piano. Just that one. And then you add the motion and the music begins to grow. Okay, so it really has to grow like little by little. You know how much crescendo I did now with my voice? That's what we have to aim at, to do it like that. Start really soft, like a whisper, and then open up your voice when you get to the high note. Okay, let's try again. Yes, that's much better. That's much better. Okay, so that's the direction that I want you to go with this piece. I think that's going to make a huge difference. Good. Now, we have a little retardando here. And that retardando mainly means that we are going to phrase. You know how I was talking to Steven about phrases? Oops, we have a cat in the class. He likes to be part of everything always. Sorry about that. There's a cluster that's not in the score, but you know, he thought it was. Okay, so yes, so at the end of the first phrase, we relax a little bit and then we start again. So something like this. And then we go on again. Strange, I'm having a little trouble with my piano. I don't know what happened. Some of the keys are getting stuck. We're gonna have to have the technician come over. Anyway, so let's do it again from the beginning. And now I want you to go on and so take a little rest. Ya ta 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 ta, like that. It's almost as if you question whether you're gonna go on, and then you go on. Okay, let's try. Okay, good. Let me tell you something. That was good. I like the rest that you took, the little break, little relaxed moment there. Now, once we get to measure 5, it says a tempo, and the tempo has to be precise. And it is important not only that it's precise, but also that it replicates what the right hand did first. Okay, it's sort of like an answer. It's sort of like you have two people doing a presentation, and then the first one goes and then the other one says too, which is basically, you know, imitating or repeating what the right hand did first. So it has to be at the same tempo. So here's a little exercise. Whenever this happens, I have in the music one hand that does the melody, and then the other hand repeats the melody. And I want to make sure that they sound the same, or at least in terms of tempo and character and phrasing. Play just the right hand, practice it like this. Play just the right hand, the first 4 measures, and immediately after, the left hand only. So be ready with your left hand to play the next phrase. And that way we can hear that they really sound in the same tempo, okay? So let's go. Let's play the first 8 measures. First 4 right hand, next 4 left hand. Yes, okay. Samuel, that was better. That was better. It was a tiny bit slower still, the left hand, but it was much better. And why do we practice like this? So that when we play hands together, we make sure that we play in time, okay? Because doing this with the right hand tends to slow us down. That's just how it is. It's because it's written like that. The right hand is going up and down, up and down. So that holds the left hand from flowing sideways, which is what it wants to do. Okay, so practice like this. Sorry about the wrong note. Can we do that again and do it a little faster this time? Yes. Okay. So this is a very good way of practicing. So do it, and I'm sure it's going to help you to bring those two phrases closer together. Okay. Very good. Going on. We have these really nice little passages here that lead into this really interesting passage with the accents. So I would like to hear all of that. Can you play please for me from here?
We have about 5 minutes left.
5 minutes. Okay. Yes. Okay, good. Let me stop you right there. Good, good. I like some of the stuff that you do. I would like, however, to maybe the first two phrases, which are short phrases of two measures, maybe be a little bit more similar, and save the retardando that you're doing for a little bit later. So something more like. So start the second group in time. Don't wait too long. And then do retardando a little more on that one. Can we do that? Yeah, it was better, but it needs to be a little bit sooner that we change positions. Sorry, that took too long. Something like this. Okay, so yeah, pa 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 pa. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right. Go ahead. Okay, that was better now. Now you were very, very good. You did what I asked you to do. You connected those two groups much better. But now let's not forget to do what you were doing before on the second one, which is to slow down, you know, to play like the music says with more emotion and ritenuto. A little bit more of that. So yeah, pa 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 pam, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3. Something like that. Can we try? Okay, good, good, good. Yeah, it is tricky because there are two different things that you're trying to connect. One is to remember to continue, and then to also slow down at the end. But you work on that, and I'm sure you can get it. Okay, now I would like to hear a little bit of the next part. This fun, what is it? Yeah, here. Can you play that for me? All the way to the fermata. Yes, yes, very good, very good. Are you using the pedal? Yeah, because I would like to hear a little more pedal there, especially here. And more crescendo, more crescendo. This is a moment in the music where things become a little more serious. Yum pam 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 pam. This chord is quite serious, actually. And then we have a little run, which eases things up, you know, and after that things become more relaxed and back to the original thing. But you know, there is a complete contrast between this serious and then maybe not so serious. Yes. You know, it goes back to our more pleasant flow of the piece. Okay, so let's do one last time right here. Yes. Go on. you're doing that good. You're doing that. I want you to continue so that we can hear the difference between this, which by the way, you're doing much better now. And then. Okay, let's do that transition. You can play, you don't have to play that again. You can play from the chord and then go on. Good, good. Okay, listen. You stop. Let me just call your attention to the chord after when the motion begins again. Right here. Careful, we're playing the chord a little too early. You have to wait a little bit more, one more beat, and you don't have to play the chord again because notice that the bottom and the top notes are tied. The only note that changes is the middle note. So this one goes here, and that's it. Okay? Yes, better, better. So make sure that those two fingers, the pinky and the thumb, stay in place. They don't lift the hand. All you have to do is this. Move the finger from one finger to the next. The position doesn't change. That way you will be playing the new note and not restriking the ones that you don't have to play. Okay, good, good. I think we have to stop. But some really nice playing, and thanks for playing this piece, which I didn't know. It's fun to hear new music. So I appreciate that. Good job. Keep up the good work, Samuel.
Good job, Samuel. And also congratulations to his teacher, Mr. Ramses, who's joining us as well. Thank you guys for the work that you've been doing. And I also at the beginning forgot to mention that a lot of our students are getting ready for the second annual George Ramirez Young Artists Festival. So they're getting these pieces up and ready for the competition coming up at the beginning of December. So, you know, your coaching comes at a great time for us, Dr. Andrade, as our students get ready for that. Next, we're going to have Alexander, who's a student of Miss Lily, playing the piece Grady Mountains. And Alexander has also been playing for just a little over a year. He started with us at BPS last summer. It's such an honor for all of our students to get selected. You know, we have 150 students at BPS right now, and out of those, you guys were the ones that were selected to play for our Masterclass today. So we're really proud of you guys. We really commend your work. So here is Alexander's performance.
Hi, my name is Alexander Garcia, and today I'll be playing the Great Smoky Mountains.
Good job, Alexander.
Nice job, Alexander. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about this piece. But good job. So you say you've been playing the piano for how long? Not very long, right?
I started last summer. Yeah, last summer. About last summer.
Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Okay, this is a cool piece, right? You're learning a lot of chords by playing this piece, and also moving your arms and finding your spot. You know, when you have jumps, is one of the challenges of the piece, and I think you're doing pretty well. A couple of things. Sometimes the challenge of it is precisely that, is to arrive to a new place in time without interruption. And your arpeggios flow really nicely, but sometimes when we get to the new chord, it takes us a little bit of time. And I think that can all be solved by thinking of the new chord sooner. One of the things about playing the piano is that very often, as a matter of fact, always, you could say, also depending on the speed of the music, our minds, our thinking, and also very often our eyes, like in this case, need to be ahead of what we are playing. If we're looking at what we're playing and we're thinking about the notes that we're playing at the moment, very often we are going to have trouble finding the next ones. We're going to have to kind of like stop. So this is something that we instinctively do, but the more aware we are of it, the better it is. So for instance, the beginning, you know, we start in a C major chord, and go into an A minor chord. So there's only one note really that changes, right? The thumb that moves to C, coming to A on that chord. So make sure to think a little bit earlier. When I'm playing this chord here, this one, the last one on the right hand, I'm already thinking of the notes for the next one. I'm already eyeing them and feeling that my thumb is going to land on that A. So A minor, there you go. And the same thing, of course, when you move up the chords or down the chords, same thing. So can we try again the first two majors and see if we can make that connection more smooth?
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Okay, good. It was better. Let's practice it a tiny bit slower so that it's more comfortable. You know how we practice very often slower than we are supposed to play, because it helps us organize everything, connect our minds with our fingers much better. So let's do it as if we were practicing, like maybe this tempo. 1. Especially this one. Yeah, pam, 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 pam. Very much. Yeah, yes, Alexander. Good, it's better, but there's still a little bit of a pause between the last broken C major and the next chord. Can you just do that for me? Just pam, 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 pam. Beat 4 and beat 1. Do it again. Yes, careful with the note, the middle note, make sure it's an E. Yeah, that chord on the left hand, C, E, A, right?
Yes, sir. C, E. Oh, that's right. Sorry, sir.
There you go. Yeah, one more time. That's better. That's better. So you see, that's the way it should go. Pam, 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 pam. Pam, 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 pam. And not pam, 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 pam. You see? And that's something that's happening sometimes. And the way to fix it is to do those two things that I told you. One is to think about the change, the chord that's coming sooner. So when you're playing this, don't think of those notes. Don't think G, E, C, because then you're gonna have to stop and take time to think about A, E, C, you know? So when you're playing this, you have to be thinking of the next chord. And the other thing is to practice it a little bit slower so that you actually have time to do that. And slower doesn't mean stop between the parts. It means just slow everything down, but still with the equal flow. So 1, 2, 3, ba, 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 bam. Yeah. Very good, very good. Now, can you go back to the top, not the top of the piece, but the top of the arpeggio and play? Better, it's better. There's a tiny, tiny delay. Let's see if we can get rid of it completely. Pam, 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 pam. Yes, that's it. That's it. Do you notice the difference?
Yes, sir. It's more connected.
Good, good. So you have to be very mindful of it when you're playing, so that you make that connection perfectly in time. Okay, that applies to a number of places in the piece where we are taking a little more time. So be sure that those same with the next one. Can we do that one now?
Right.
Yeah.
For D, sir, right?
Yeah, for D.
Okay. I see
Okay, good, good. Yeah, no, I know. It takes a little time to remember. Okay, which is the chord now? Okay, so now you know. And the way to isolate that is also just playing the last D chord and the new G chord. So yes. Yes, exactly. That's perfect. That's perfect. And that's the way it has to sound when you come from the top. All the way to the top, it has to sound the same way. Okay, so work on that. And my suggestion to you is to work on it a little bit slower like this, so that it's easy to be in control of that transition, so that it's perfectly connected. Okay, and then once you do that, it will be easier to do it at tempo. It will work.
Okay.
Okay, good, good, good. Let's go on. There was something about the rhythm on the second page that I wanted to talk about. Linda, you're gonna say something?
Yeah, just a little. Yeah, we were to have just a little under 5 minutes.
A little under 5 minutes. Okay. So yes, let's go to the second page. Second page. Okay. Here we have a little challenge for us because of the rhythm. The way the rhythm works here is a little bit tricky because we've been doing triplets. So we get into the swing of the triplets, into the feel of the triplets, and then suddenly we have to switch to 8 notes. And that can be a little bit challenging. It takes like really deliberate concentration to think about how do 8 notes sound after having playing triplets. So triplet, 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 8 note, 8 note, 8 note, 8 note. That's a good exercise that I like to do, speaking it out when I have that transition because it's tricky. So for instance, here we have triplet, triplet, long note, long, and then which should be a little bit slower. I think you're playing a little bit too fast. You're going something like that. And I think it should be a little slower. So let me play a little faster in general. So little retardando en ya pa 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 pam. I'm playing without the pedal, but you know what I mean, right? So can we try that? That may be on the last measure of the previous system. pam, 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 pam. Can you do that again? But just right there. Da-dee, da-dee.
Am I going too fast?
Yes,
there?
yes, a little fast. Some of them want to get a little faster than the other ones. Make sure that they are even. Yes, do you notice how the first two are a little slow and then the next two get a little fast? Do it again. Okay. Can you clap for me? Pam, 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 pam. Yes, that's it. That's the correct rhythm. Pam, 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 pam. Ya, da, 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 da. Yes. Now just with the right hand. Yes, that's it. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Yes. Okay. So you see, you were doing a little too fast. A little too fast. Same here. Yeah. That's it. That's correct. Very good. Very good. Okay, so you fixed that. Now this part, the follows, the one where it says gradually faster with all the octaves and the chords, that's great. That's great. And you play that really well with good sound that has to grow and get louder. Don't be afraid at the end to play it even louder at the bottom of the page. You know, you start piano. It's a little more. And then fortissimo. Yes. So give it good sound. Let's try it.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, obviously you have to find the notes first, but again, the same thing that we were talking about before when I was telling you, don't think of the notes you're playing right at that moment. Think of the ones you have to play next. So in these measures here, you play this one, don't lock your mind into that chord, which is a really cool chord, by the way. I really like it. The one with the low G and the F, A flat D. It's a cool chord, but let it go. Once you play it, think about the next one. Where are my notes? Oh, okay, B, D, G. Okay, good. And then you can play the other one and you won't have trouble. Can you play the last two measures?
Yes, sir. Wait. Oh, last two measures. Okay.
Just last two measures, yeah. Bum, bum.
No.
Yes.
Okay. Try one more time, sir.
Yes. That was better, but you did it too fast. In this place, you have to wait. You have to hold a little bit longer, which is good because when you have to hold, immediately after you play, you have 3 beats to wait. In those 3 beats, you find your notes with your eyes. You find them, and then you're ready to play. Okay, so that's basically the point of that that I was trying to make there. Okay, I think these ideas will help you, but the most important one, I think, is the one of fixing the rhythm on the 8th notes right before, which we just did. So remember, that's how those go. And also connecting, always eliminate the space between a flowing arpeggio and the chords that follow. And if you have to play the whole thing at a slower tempo, do that. Practice it in sections at a slower tempo, making sure the connection is good. And yeah, this applies to pretty much the whole piece. But good job with those crossing hands and flowing arpeggios. Your arpeggios are really good. You just have to make sure that at the end, when you have to switch, that the switch happens sooner. Yeah, but good work. Good for you. Quick learner. You've learned quite a bit of piano in a short time. My cat thinks so too. All right, good job.
Good job, Alexander. Very cool. I'm so impressed with how quickly you've been learning. And for Christmas, now maybe you want to ask for a bigger piano, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Good job, Alexander. So here at BPS, we're always full of firsts. And this morning I got a call from Elizabeth's mom telling me that she fell playing tennis. And so she was going to be unable to perform. She couldn't even lift her arm today. But Elizabeth was the very first person to send in her recording on Monday. So we're going to play her performance anyway. And we're gonna hope that she has a speedy recovery, that she gets to rest that elbow. She literally has tennis elbow right now. So we're gonna play her performance. This is Elizabeth Ta playing Chopin Waltz.
Very good. Very good, Elizabeth. Congrats. You played beautifully. I don't know if you're there somewhere, but yes, wonderful playing. There she is.
Her hand is there.
So,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, I hope you get better soon, Elizabeth, so that we can work next time on your beautiful.
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna definitely pray for a speedy recovery for her. And so super last minute, her brother Elliot jumped in to play and recorded himself within the last hour, so that he could perform for in her stead. So I'm one proud teacher today. Thank you, Elliot, for jumping in. So he's going to be playing the Kulau Sonatina in D major. So this is his recording of his sonatina.
Great. Yeah, great job. Great playing too, Elliot. Very good work. This is not an easy piece. This sonatina has a lot of stuff that makes it work. The scales, the arpeggios, and also the repeated chords, which are not always very easy. So first of all, I love the tempo. I love the character. I love the energy, you know, and the attitude of playing this piece, which sounds a little bit like a march. And as a matter of fact, it says tempo di marcha, right? So you have captured that really well. Very, very good, very good. Okay, I have a few suggestions that can help you with clarity a little bit more, especially with some of the scales and some of the chords. The first thing, because it's the first thing that happens in the piece, is when we have quickly repeating chords, you have to, for instance, here, we have pam, pam, pam. It's 3 chords, right, that we're playing, but the arm doesn't bounce 3 times. Because if we do that, then it becomes really hard for the quick note to play, to move in time. So in other words, we don't do. Because if I do that, it slows me down. Instead of that, we play up and then down. And going down is where you play the next 2 chords. So up, down, oops, sorry, up, and then down. So up. Can you try that for me? Yes, pum. Yes, yes, yes. So exaggerate a little bit for me the bounce, going up. And then, yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's better. There you go, there you go. Because that's gonna help you, it's gonna help you make the second chord, which is the shortest one, be light. Be lighter, and it needs to be light in order to move quickly to the next one, and also for the notes to sound. If this second chord gets heavy, then what's gonna happen is that the next one is not gonna sound. Okay, so it's like, you know how when you have a little ball, like a little rubber ball, and you drop it not too far from the floor, it bounces one time, right? And then the next time it bounces very little. It bounces less. Well, there are many different kinds of rubber balls. Some of them are super bouncy, right? You just drop them and they just keep going up. And don't imagine that ball. Okay, this is a different one, a heavier one. A heavy one that bounces one time and the next time barely moves. You know, I'm sure you've seen them. Pom, 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 like that. Pom, pom, pom. Yes. Yeah, that's how we want to play. We still want to come off the keys, of course, so that the last chord sounds, but it's a very little bounce. So the image of that ball, I think, is very helpful. Okay, so it comes off the floor, the ball, right, comes off the floor, but then not very far, right there. Okay, good. Let me find the music again here. Now let's work a little bit on your scales, which we have already on measure 4. We have this quick moving up scale. When I have a fast scale that it goes in one direction for a long time, like this one, for the whole measure, what I like to imagine is that the arm is kind of floating and is gently being pulled in that direction. So that it's not that I'm playing the scale finger by note with my finger like that, but instead from here, from the elbow, someone is pulling my arm gently that way. Can you try that image for me? Oh, that was already better. Yes, that was already better. And of course, one of the tricky things about scales always is the fact that we have a thumb that is heavier than the other fingers, and we have to cross under. So that is always a tricky thing. So what you want to do is, at the same time that your arm is floating towards the right, your wrist is very loose, so that the thumb, this part of the hand, is very relaxed too, so that the thumb can actually like go forward to the next note and connect without lifting. So the fingers never really give up, come off the keys. You know, there's always one finger that is touching. It's like the monkey, you know, that the monkey goes from branch to branch. The monkey never lets the branch go before grabbing the next one. You know, it almost seems as if they are, because it's so exact that it seems like there's a moment that the monkey's in the air, but really they just begin to release, but not really, grab the next one and then go. And that's how scales are, including for the thumb. Okay, so try that again. Try it a little bit slower first, and think of that thumb as if it was a snake that never picks up from the floor, but it just goes like this. Yes, Elliot, good. But do it a little bit slower so that you can feel that your thumb is like a snake. Yes, Elliot, that's better. That's already better. Another thing that's very important when you play scales, don't let your hand, and this comes along with imagining the snake, don't let the hand go up and down. Because if you do that, when you cross, the thumb will bring down the arm, and that will be a lot of sound. That will be an accent. We don't want that. We want just to float, and then the thumb, like a snake in the water. Have you seen a snake swimming in the water? No? Okay. Maybe that's a good thing that you haven't. That'll be a little scary. But like, maybe then like a fish. You know, they just go like that. So free. Please don't go like this with your thumb. That will take too much time. But you know, it just flows and floats that way. And then the arm comes into play. Floating towards the right. Yes. Are you thinking of your arm being pulled? Gently pulled from here. Someone is pulling your arm this way. Very gently. Yes, that helps. Very good. Good. Good, good, good. Okay, good. So I suggest you practice your scales like that. I know you know your scales very well. So when you practice them, do them like this. When they go up, you know, they're kind of gently being pulled and the arm floats that way.
We have just a little under 5 minutes.
Okay. All right, so we have a few places where clarity is very important because you know they have so many notes in this piece. Like for instance, at the end of the second system, measure 7. And complete change. When you go from this passage, complete change of character so that we can hear the flowing 16 notes. It has to sound like water that reaches the pond. Good, good. Yeah, it's a little tricky to play like that out of context, I know. Can we do maybe 2 measures before and just play everything right here? Play from there. Good. That was actually quite good and quite fast too. Yeah, be careful not to rush too much. Okay, now the next part, the left hand, because it has thirds at the bottom and then alternating with the thumb, it is very easy for our hand to go like this, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. When that happens, we slow down. It becomes harder. It becomes almost as if you're walking in the water. Have you tried walking when you are inside a swimming pool? In a pool, you know, walking is harder. It's like slower, right? Because the water doesn't let you go. It becomes a little bit like that. And we don't want that. We want it to flow. So instead of that, imagine that that you're kind of floating. Also, again, floating, but this time on the water. And the hand goes a little bit like that. It rotates. Can you play the left hand alone? Nice and light. Yes, good. That's much better. That's much better. But you have to think about it, especially when the other hand comes, that you don't play vertical, but you continue doing. Can we play hands together? Yeah, it's better. It's better. Okay, so that type of lightness is necessary. And sometimes, depending on how the notes are written on the page, we need to figure out a different way of using our arm and our hand. Okay, so you have to remember that. Sometimes we think that it doesn't matter whether the passage goes like this, or like this, or like this, that we're gonna play the same, and we don't. You know, each one of those has a different use of the arm. So you have to find the one that allows for the music to flow more easily. Okay, and I'm sure you can pick that up very quickly and easily. Okay, great. Lots of good playing here. Could I please hear again from, let's see, what is a good place? Measure 24, where you have the A major scale. And play that whole passage so that you go through this one. So that we see the descending. Go ahead.
Both hands?
Yes, both hands. I know chromatic scales can be a little bit tricky. Your thumb, again, your thumb needs to be super free and loose, very loose, almost like limp, very limp. Very light. Yes. Yes. Much better, much better, much better. Something else before that, we have these chords which are a little bit louder than before, right? Before we had this. Now we have both hands going. I think you can play more with the arm, with the full arm. Sorry. So that it sounds louder and more full. Can we try that? Yes, make sure that your shoulders are relaxed and they kind of bounce. They don't go up, they just bounce. Yeah, and the same thing that we talked at the beginning about, there is not 2 attacks, only 1. Better. Yes, very good, very good. Okay, well, I think those things will help you, especially because this piece is so full of scales and passage work everywhere. And you know, that freedom is what you need. By the way, your descending scales, when the other fingers cross over the thumb, they're great. They're great. You know, you do that with a nice facility, easy and comfortable crossing. Think about that when you do the other one. It has to feel natural. Even though it's a little bit harder to cross with the thumb, think that the thumb is like a little snake or a snail, you know, that reaches that next key without any problem, and that the arm floats with the aid of a little push or a little pull. Okay. And yes, the character is very good. Very good. You play really well. Congratulations. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Job, Elliot. And again, thank you for hopping in super last minute to cover for your sister.
Yes.
And our last performance of the day is going to be by Sean, who will be playing Mozart's Rondo alla Tocca, Turkish March. Here's his recording.
Yay, good job, Sean. Good job. Kudos on
Thank you.
tackling such a tricky piece. Wow, you've grown a lot since last time I heard you. Good for you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so let's work a little bit on this one.
Both pianistically and in height, right?
That's true. That's true. Yes. Well, it's been a while, but what? Yeah, he has grown. Okay. This is a fun piece, isn't it? It's one of those pieces that once you learn it, you just can't stop playing. It's so much fun. You're doing great. Yes, and the tempo is excellent. You're playing actually this quite fast, which is very challenging. This is not an easy piece at all. So I'm very impressed. Now, one of the things about Mozart's music is that it always requires the highest degree of clarity. You know, it has to be always very clear. Everything. There's so many notes. And especially in this one, you know, you have so many passage work that continues, you know, continues 16 notes, and we have to work very diligently to make sure that they all come out very clearly, very clearly. The beginning is good, you know, it has to always sound like a melody that begins as a fragment, and then it repeats and it goes up and it develops, right? So we have the first idea here, then again a little bit higher, and then this one 3 times. So you have to think from the beginning that that's what you're going to do. And only then something new happens, right? So think about it as a whole phrase. And then something new. Can we go from the beginning and think about this beginning to the double bar as two phrases? One is this one, and then that's the second one. Go ahead. Okay, good. The very ending on this one, make sure your left hand knows exactly where to go. It's the first time that we hear that note in the bass, the B. So it's very, very important. Everything is A, and then E, right? B, E. So we have to hear it. So get your left hand there so that you don't miss it. Can we go from here?
Okay.
Before you, yeah, still don't quite hear these notes here. We have a melody that ends that first section that has to be very clear. And then also the bass. I want to hear that very clearly. Can you do the same thing again? Okay, good. So you have to practice that transition on the right hand. Can you do the right hand alone at the very end? I want to see you do that. Okay, that's good. Add the left hand to that. That was good. That was the best one so far. Oh, thank you for moving the camera. Yes, now I can see your hands very well. Yes, yes, you just fixed that. Okay, so as you can see, isolating and playing that measure alone will work. Do that a number of times, and then you put it into the context of the whole phrase, and it's going to be much better. Okay, so that clarity is important, very important. Okay, let's go on. Yes, go on. Very good. Very good, very good. That was very good. I love the phrasing. I love how you took a little bit of time before going to the next one, and also the contrast of dynamics that you did between the two. That's excellent. Okay, go on, please. Okay. Okay, good, good. Yeah, good drill. One chord here is very special because it's very different and it's very unexpected. And it's this one here. And Mozart actually writes a forte right there because he wants that to be more emphasized. So can we bring that out a little bit more? And in fact, you can hold down with your pinky to that note. That's the F natural, F natural. Yeah, you could hold it like that a little bit more. I think that would be good. Could you do that chord alone, just with the left hand? Yes, exactly, that one. So, because everything before is the same as we already know it. That's what to expect, but instead, big surprise. So bring that out a little bit more. Hold the F with the pinky so that it has more emphasis. And after that, oh, sorry, but you know, the rest, it's a little lighter. Okay, can we hear again from there? From... Yes, right there, right there. Yeah, hold on, hold on. That's the one that I want you to hold. Don't play it too lightly. Just make a little more, hold the F natural a little bit more when you get there. So, like this. Could you see me?
Yes.
Okay, like that. Okay, yeah, that was better. That was better. That was better. Even if you do a little bit more, it's okay. It's okay. That is a place where Mozart wants surprise, wants to shock you a little bit because the harmony there, the harmony on the left hand is a little bit dissonant and weird. And that's what he wants. Okay, so, and that's good. In the end, the trill is very good. Okay, here. These octaves need to be played a little bit more with the arm, not too close to the keys. Sometimes the best thing to do in a passage is to play close to the keys. Sometimes it's better to release and use more the arm. And I think this is one example. No? So let's try. Okay, very good, very good. It's better, it's better. There's only one note that I don't like, and it's the third one. The third one, because it's a quarter note, and I think it has to be longer. You're playing it as if it was one of the 8 notes, like this. You know, all the same, but that third note is longer. Can we try again? Better, better, Sean. That was better. That was better. So that's the idea. Make sure that that quarter note is different. Okay, the next passage is the one where students always have to spend more time working and working on those 16 notes so that they come out very clearly. Can we do it slower? Like that. That's the right hand, it's fine. Yes, it is better. It is better. There are still a few places where the fingers move a little too quickly. A little too quickly, so the rhythm becomes ta 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 ta, you know, and that's what we want to prevent. Here it has to be completely even. Especially that turn. Very even. Can you try one more time for me? Yes, that was better. That was better. So that's the direction that you have to go. You know, in order to play this piece faster and with the clarity that is expected, you have to practice it a number of times like this, slower, even if you already can play it fast. You know, when we practice the slow, it's not only when we're learning the piece, but also when we're trying to make it cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. And you have very good fingers to play this really well, but you just have to do that type of practice. And when you do that, it's gonna get so much better. And when you play faster, it's gonna sound that last passage there is tricky, right? The one with the crossing of the with the change because of the 3-4-5, 3-4-5-3. So you want to practice that by itself. Many times until you feel comfortable. Okay, good. Let's play the next part. You can play with both hands now.
We have just 5 minutes left.
5 minutes left. All right. Okay, good. Okay, there's one fingering that I don't like that you're doing there. You are the ascending A major scale on measure 43. You're finishing with 5, and when you do that, you break the arrival. We have to get to the A sharp connecting. So you're doing this. You're breaking that, and it should be connected. Play it as if you're playing the A major scale 2 octaves that you cross with the thumb, you know?
Oh,
Can you do that for me?
okay.
You can play just the scale with the right hand. Okay, that was better. Can I see it again? See what fingers you're using? I can see. Let's do it one more time. Yeah, no, that broke. It's one connected line. Okay, that's better. Yes, that's better. When you use your thumb, you can connect. So make sure that you do that, because when you played it before, you went 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're out of fingers. But you have still 2 more notes to play. And the result is that you break and move the hand and play the other notes. And we don't want that. We want 1. And then after 1, you can do whatever you want. You can do 2, 3, or 3, 4, whichever. Okay, so make sure that you fix that fingering. It's important for the clarity of the line. Okay, great. Now we have, after that, we have the same idea. Tiki tiki tim, and then it repeats. Let's go here now to this part that we have the broken octaves, which I think you did great, but I want to hear it again. Yes, it's good. Now, the only thing that I see is that your fingers go like this. The octaves, you're doing karang, 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 karang. And I would like to hear a little bit more of this. That comes from the arm. Tari, rari, rari, tari, rari, rari. So instead of, which is more like the fingers are playing it. Yep. Instead of that, I would like more of this. because when you do that, you are more connected to the piano. The weight of the arm is on the keys and the sound is bigger. So you can do a forte much more easily like that. Can you try just that right hand? Yes. Yes, that's the idea. At the beginning, you did it well, but then it sort of went back to finger action, which is understandable. That's the way you've practiced it. You know, so it takes a little bit of thinking. Okay, I'm gonna do it differently. I'm gonna practice in a different way. Not this, but really exaggerating more motion. Yeah. Sorry. So yes, when you do that, the sound becomes louder much more easily. So you don't have to like try really hard. It's just the arm. And also it gives more sense of line. After all, that passage that resembles the strum, right? No, I mean the drums going like the brum, brum, like that. It's also a melody, you know, and it's a beautiful melody. Yeah. So you practice that. Talk to Miss Linda about it, you know, so that she can help you with the rotation of the arm. I think that's going to help. And then the ending is a tricky place with lots of difficulties here, and you did very well, very well. These chords are not easy. Yeah, that was all very good. Now, when we get to this part, it is tricky to keep the tempo. I would like to hear your left hand alone. Let's see if we can keep up the tempo. Yeah, here. It's measure 109. Do you have the music with you?
It's the A major chord.
Yes. A major chord in Alberti Bay.
Oh.
Yes, the one where the left hand
Oh,
plays
yeah,
all
okay. All right.
16 notes. Yes, yes. Go ahead. Okay, good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Now, can you play the right hand? Okay, good. So let's try hands together. Okay, yeah. You almost got it. You almost got it. There are just a few places where we tense up, excuse me, and the tempo drops, and we get a little bit like stuck. I think we get a little tighten up. So you have to practice it a little bit slower, but making sure that you maintain the tempo. I would suggest using the metronome to make sure that the tempo is steady. For instance, so. Sorry. Can you do that for me once at that tempo? Okay, yeah, it's better. It's better. You just have to work on your left hand also to make sure. This chord is a little bit tricky. It gives you a little trouble. The D major one. Yeah, you kind of want to play in the opposite order. What you have to do here, Sean, is bring your arm into the picture a little bit more. Right now, what you're doing is that your arm is staying in the same place and you're just stretching the fingers. So it's a more compromised position for the fingers, harder for them to move. And that's why your hand kind of tenses up and wants to play the notes out of order. But if you get a position as comfortable like this, you will be fine. What do you have to do? Move the arm up. Move the arm up and practice that chord by itself. Up here, a little bit higher. Yes, that one. And same thing here that we were talking about the right hand when it rotates, taka, 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 and the octaves here. You can also do pam, 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 more arm. That is going to help you. Yes. So practice that by itself, the chord by itself, making sure that you're in a comfortable position for the chord, where the arm feels free, and that is going to help you. If you play it from here, it's not gonna work, it's not gonna happen. You have to, this is comfortable for this one. For this one, I adjust my hand, okay? And practice it slower with the metronome to make sure that you don't get stuck there. The ending is very good, and I think that's all. Yeah, the ending is no problem. You got that end really well. I don't know if you're using the pedal. There are a few places here where you can use the pedal. Touches, especially in the part of the octaves. So talk to your teacher about that. But that's just an addition for color and resonance. Otherwise, most of the work, of course, is on the fingers. And more than anything, just polishing, clearing things out so that it sounds better. But you did very good. Good job.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for playing.
Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you to all of our performers today, Stephen, Samuel, Alexander, Elliot, and Sean. Thank you to their teachers, Miss Lily, Miss Jan, Mr. Ramses, and thank you to Dr. Andrade for his time and for his, somebody was like, he's going to judge our students. And it's like, I don't know that that's what I would call it, but he's going to work with our students. And he's going to, hopefully at this point you're working on details and, what he was talking about, the character of the pieces and all these other things that take your playing to the next level, right? Just a couple of things a couple of dates that I want you guys to be aware of. One is that we have the deadline for the Georgia Ramirez Festival coming up next week. So talk to your teachers about that. We're coordinating with them on what to do and the forms that they have to do. Also, the deadline for the recordings for that will be December 2nd, and the judging will begin December 5th. Our recitals are going to come up the week of December the 13th. And we hope to hear all of you guys performing in our virtual recital then. Please remember that we are, especially if you're coming in for a lesson, we are at your mercy. Please take care of yourselves. Please wear your masks. Please limit going out, especially now as we head into Thanksgiving, so that we can all continue to be healthy. We are thankful for each and every one of you. We're thankful that we get to keep teaching you online, that we get to still work with you and see your faces every week. We're thankful that you've chosen us to be your instructors and your teachers. We don't take you guys for granted. And we're so proud of the work that you guys have continued to do throughout this pandemic, the work that you guys have continued and the hours that you've put in. It's very commendable. Thank you to your parents as well for supporting you all, for helping you guys be successful. And we hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving break, that you get some rest, that you practice still, and that you eat lots of yummy food. Thank you again, Dr. Andrade, and we will see everyone in a week. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.